Happy Friday, ladies. Welcome, welcome. Jaki Sabourin here, and this is my final video in the video series of dating advice for women over 50. And today I'm going to talk about mistakes to avoid when you're dating over 50. And so this is, the real mistake and the only mistake you can really make is by not getting out there. And so I really want to encourage all of you to just get out there. I mean, we're here in the winter, in the middle of winter, but spring is right around the corner. It'll be easier to date, especially meeting men in real life in those colder climates. So I really want to encourage you to remember that the real mistake that you can make is thinking that there's not somebody out there for you. There absolutely is somebody out there for you, but you're not going to meet him sitting at home on your couch. So I learned that the hard way. I spent 3 years on my couch thinking that there was going to be a magical, mysterious, wonderful man knocking at my door and asking me to go out and sweep me off my feet. That never happened. Actually, I really did think that. I don't know what. That's called magical thinking, by the way. And that's one of the mistakes that women can make, is getting into magical thinking and thinking that a man's just going to show up. You're just going to, somehow it's just going to fall into place. And yes, I hope that really does happen. And I'm not saying that it can't happen. Miracles certainly do happen. But dating is really 80% mindset and 20% strategy. And so let's talk about your mindset. Your mindset needs to get out of the magical thinking and to recognize that that you're going to meet a great guy. You have to program yourself to believe in something that hasn't arrived yet so that you can have the experience of the belief. So beliefs create your experiences, not the other way around. So if you believe that you're going to meet an amazing man who loves and adores you, you will. You're right. And if you believe that you are not going to meet an amazing man, then you're also right. So it starts with your belief, your mindset. And so when you have this belief, I now have a man who loves and adores me, you can now have the experience that brings. So you really need to have that little program or affirmation. Put it up on your refrigerator, add it to a little sticky note. I've got little sticky, I'm really a big fan of those stickies, the yellow stickies, the square ones about this size, like this. And I post these everywhere to remind me so that my mind can see what it is what I'm working on. I'm constantly programming my mind. So my mind and your mind is like a computer. You have to constantly program it to have the experiences that you want. And so it's all about your mindset. So what are you thinking about today? So I now have a man who loves and adores me is your new empowering belief system so that you can have the experience that will bring. And so make sure you're just always monitoring your thoughts and observing what your mind's doing, especially when you're feeling discouraged or disappointed. You want to make sure you're managing your mindset. Surrounding yourself by people who support you and believe that it's possible. Enrolling your friends as your women that will invite you to events and parties and introduce you to single men, the women that are in relationships. That is really important, to let the people in your life know that this is a desire that you have and that you could really use their support. And the ones that aren't supportive, then you can focus on the ones that are, and I wouldn't spend time with people that aren't supportive. And so now another tip I want to give you, and a big mistake that women make with dating over 50 is making the assumption that a profile is a person. And this is about online dating. So you're making this assumption that a profile, that's who the man is. And it's not, it's just a profile. You cannot tell by reading words on a computer whether or not this guy is the one for you or if he's a good man. You really need to go to the next step, which I really recommend, is getting on the phone and asking the questions, having a nice conversation, getting a feel for him. So the big mistake that women make is making an assumption about a man that they see in a profile. And I think women, we do this a lot because we want somebody for various reasons. And then men don't put a lot of effort into their online profile pictures. And so you look at these pictures and you're like, ugh, he doesn't really look that great. I don't know if I even want to be seen with him. But you need to get him on the phone and you need to meet him in person because he is not his profile. And men, and there's a statistic right now that women, so men can go up in your eyes by 4 points. So in other words, you see a man, and I'll just use Michael as an example. My poor husband. I'm always using him as an example, but he doesn't mind. He's supportive of what I'm doing, and he wants to see all you ladies in a healthy relationship. So when I first saw Michael in his first picture, one of his arms was not there because he had cropped the picture. And at first, what I noticed, he had a huge forehead, and he does. He has a big forehead, okay, and he knows that he has a big forehead. Anyways, I saw that, and I waiting for my video camera to refocus. Sometimes it does that if I move around a little bit too much. So bear with me. It's going to pick up the focused picture. There we go. And so I was like, oh my gosh, all I could see was the forehead. And I was thinking, I don't think that's going to work for me. My mind was thinking that. That's why mindset's so important. And what does my mind know? What does my mind know about him, right? And so, I'm not perfect. I've got all these things going on. But I got him on the phone. And then I heard his voice, and I really liked the sound of his voice, and I loved what he had to say. And then from that point, we went and met. And then when I met him in person, he was so much different than his pictures. He had such a dynamic energy about him. And immediately I became really, really nervous because all of a sudden the stakes were higher, and so he went up from a 4 to a 5 to a 6. So men can go up in our, up the ladder and according to how attracted we are to them by 4 to 5 points. And whereas men, we can only go up 1 point with them. So that's why it's so important for you to master your 3 dating outfits, to master your first date conversations, to really skill up in dating. I mean, face it, I always talk about being the best version of yourself. Well, sometimes dating is not the best version of ourselves. We're nervous, we're anxious, maybe we're not prepared, we're coming out of a meeting, we're a little frazzled, we've had a bad day, whatever. Sometimes it can be our worst moment. So that's why you need to be prepared. Being prepared allows you to relax so that you can bring forward that best version of yourself. So remember that first impression is really important to a man, and you only have the ability to go up 1 point in a man's eyes, whereas a man can go up 4 to 5 points in our eyes. So that's why you want to give these men a chance, because they don't approach dating and their profiles the same way we do. Okay, and so another tip that I can give you about dating over 50 and the common mistakes that women make, and this is the big one, it's rushing the relationship. We're really excited about getting into a relationship. We're relationship oriented. We're community oriented. So it's natural that we want to get this part of our life settled. We'd like to settle down so that we can get on with our life. It's just so important to women. And men take longer to make that bond, to make that attachment. But the mistake that we can make is attaching too soon, and that pushes men away. Men take up to 3 months to make an attachment to you. Can take up to 3 months. So that's why you don't want to rush the relationship. You need to give a man time that he needs to make that attachment with you. And that's why one of the most important things that I teach and talk about is detaching from outcomes. If you remain detached but involved, so in other words, you're not giving him your heart, which I never recommend anyways. You're just continuing to receive what he's offering what he's giving you. You're gracious, and you're letting things unfold, and you're allowing them to see where they go. And after 3 months, if an attachment hasn't formed, then I would say it would be safe to say that it may not. And maybe that's a time to have a conversation, a deeper conversation. And if he runs away, well, so be it. Maybe that will be a good thing. And so don't rush to force that commitment, because men don't roll the same way we do. They don't operate the same way. They need more time. And another really important factor, and it's really easy to do and to fall into this because we love to share stories and we're storytellers, but bonding over your baggage, and I've talked to this before, bringing up your past is what I mean. It's the past, especially with romantic situations. It is not a good idea ever to bring up an ex-husband, especially if you have some angst or anger, or even a lot of sorrow if you've lost a loved one. It's not the appropriate platform to share personal things about your romantic relationships, because It puts that person in an awkward situation. The emotions could start to get triggered, and he's going to make an assessment about you in that moment, and that's going to sabotage your first date experience. Over time, when it's safe, when there's sharing and equal amounts of intimacy is shared, then it's appropriate to share more. But how much do you really want to share about a bad experience you had with an ex? I mean, you don't really hear me sharing any negative experiences with my ex. I don't want to bring that part of my life into my current situation. That's why I don't share it. It's irrelevant. It's past. It doesn't exist. It's over. I don't want to give any bandwidth to that and have it expand. And I also have made my peace with it. I made my peace with it. There were a lot of good and a lot of lessons that I learned in that relationship and in other relationships I've had with men, but they're not relevant to who I am today. I just took the wisdom, but let go of the messenger. So get the message, learn the lessons, but release the messenger. So there's no need to talk about these men. If a man asks you if you're seeing anybody, you can just smile and say, "I'm dating." And that just implies that you're dating, and really if more is less in that. I mean, less is more in that case, because you don't want to reveal too much. And so another piece, and then I'm going to take some questions that I want to share, is don't lie about your age. There's just no need for that. We need to stop this idea that men want younger women. Men want honest women. Okay. And also what can happen is, and I've done it. I've lied about my age the first time I launched my online dating profile. My well-intentioned friends told me that I should, and I did. And I was in my early 40s. What was I thinking? I'm 54. So I know the stakes feel higher when you're older, but I had to explain that wasn't my real age. And so men will judge you on that. Some men will not want to see you again because they will say that you lied to them. And some men are okay with it because they maybe are struggling with that as well. And so now I'm going to take some questions. I hope that helps you about not lying about your age. Just own your age. Define it. Define your age by who you are, not by a number. Just let this whole idea go that getting older is a negative. I mean, I've never felt more alive, more connected, and more satisfied and fulfilled than I do now. And yes, I'm aging, but that's just a part of life. We're all aging, but it's the way I'm approaching it. So I hope that helps you, ladies. Come to terms with it, let it go, and own your age, and be real. That's what men are looking for. And so I'm going to just check in with my YouTube ladies, and I also want to ask you if you would please subscribe to my channel and like my Facebook page if you're enjoying the content so that you receive notifications. Also helps me with my rankings. This is something you can do for me, and I would really appreciate it. Share it with your friends too. I'm sure you have some single girlfriends that would benefit from the videos. And I'm getting a beautiful request from the ladies that are married. And you know what? I did a survey yesterday, and you may have received it, that almost 50% of my ladies would like to have more information, more training about relationships and being married. And she's asking for some videos or create course for once you're married. 2 years in, learning to engage my femininity more as I age. I'm 43. I will be happy to do that. It would be an honor to do that. Thank you so much for requesting that. I had the reason why I haven't done any yet is because I'm really focused on helping the single ladies. But the longer I'm married, naturally, the more I'm gravitating towards wanting to teach women the skill sets that they want to continue to embody, and so that they can deepen their relationships with their boyfriends and their husbands. And it's also because I love to. This announcement is really fantastic because a lot of the women that are following me are getting into relationships, just even from my YouTube videos. And so half of the people that watch me are getting into relationships. So I definitely see the need for that. And I will definitely put something together. I like creating a course. This year, I'm going to be creating more products and more courses for you. So I'm absolutely going to do that. Thank you. Excellent. Excellent idea. And so let me answer another question. I feel like lying to, let me start over. I feel like lying by a couple of years to get under the 50 radar is not so bad initially, because otherwise you may not end up ever being seen by someone just because you're 1 or 2 years over the search. All forms of distorted thinking must stop. That's the thing with this, and that's why it's bigger than that. It's bigger than this algorithm. It's called the law of attraction. Your thoughts, words, and deeds have to be congruent. I want you to have emotional courage to trust that your man's going to find you, whether you're 51 or 49 or 61 or 59. You have to trust that men are looking, the ones that are looking for you, the man that's looking for you is going to find you. So I want you to just look at this as your belief. This is really about your beliefs. You don't believe that a man's going to find you because you're of XYZ age. And so I get the whole algorithm thing, but really you need to be sending out generator emails, looking at men that you're interested in and letting them see who you really are. And you could put young at heart. I feel like I'm 30, got a body of 30, whatever it is for you, but I just don't recommend it. I just want us to, as women, as a culture, to start being more real, more genuine, and more owning our age. Maybe we could stop this idea that men want younger women when we start to act like we're okay with how old we are. I mean, it works hand in hand. So let's collectively, commit to bringing forth some authenticity online and offline, and owning your age and defining it, like I said earlier. I know it's hard, I know, because it makes us feel vulnerable, but in that vulnerability, you're real, and that's what makes you connect to a man. And so, let's see. Yeah. Right. Okay, so I'm just reading the questions. So how do I change my age now for a few years if I already said 50? Good question. I'm not exactly sure. You might have to, copy and save your profile, delete it, create a new email address, and then just relaunch your profile. I would just do that. And you know what? That would be good for you anyways. Move things around, create a new email address, a new energy around you're being real and authentic, relaunch your profile and a new email address, and start fresh. Start fresh. That's I think what you should do. And I don't know if you can change it on Match or on Bumble. So just have the emotional courage to do it, and don't judge yourself for it. It's not good. It's not bad. It's not wrong or right. It just is. Okay. Do not judge yourself for it. Judging yourself is a waste of energy. It drains your life force energy, and it's really dysfunctional. It doesn't make you feel good. Feeling good is the most important thing. Remember, that's our goal. And you're not being a martyr for the cause. You're just being real and honest. Okay. I did it. I went back in and changed my age. I went through the same thing. And that's why I'm recommending it to you. Nothing that I teach about have I not done on myself. I don't just share strategies that I find online. These are my real world examples and what I coach my clients on. I feel that teaching from real world examples is so much more effective than making up a lot of stuff for you that makes sense but really isn't applicable in real life. And so that's why my clients have so much success, and you will too. And I want to be forthright, but I had some mindset challenges, I think she's saying. All right, let's see what we got on our Facebook page. Yeah, it always comes back to bite you if you lie. What happens is a man will find out. Recently happened to one of my clients, and he ghosted her. And so she reached out and said, hey, I just for the sake of learning curve, is there any way you'd be willing to share why you ghosted me? And he emailed back after a couple of days, or maybe it was a week, and said, sure. He said, when I took you to the airport and you had your passport out, I saw your real age, and I was really put off by that. And she's like, wow, I had a feeling, but she didn't really connect the fact that she lied about her age to him seeing. She knew he saw her age, but she thought he was okay with it. He was okay with it. He just wasn't okay with the lie. And maybe he had some other reason, but that's not the point. The point is that some men will think that you're not trustworthy. That's why you have to be real right up front. You're welcome, Jill. And you're in a relationship now. Congratulations. So I'm definitely going to be making videos that I'm looking for questions that might be popping up on Facebook on relationship videos. I'm really excited to do that because I have 7 years, solid years. That's a whole cycle with Michael. And we've had our share of ups and downs, but they've been fantastic because we have the skills and they've brought us closer and we have more depth and more intimacy than we ever have. And I'm really grateful for that. And so let me take one more question on YouTube. So, Mary, I'm not seeing what else you're writing. Let me scroll back up. And you can write as much as you want, ladies. That's what I'm here for. Yes, this is a good place to exhale. It's always safe to exhale, get it off your chest in our community because this is a non-judgmental, empowering, supportive group of women. That's what my community is, non-judgmental. We're not judging. We're learning to look at things with compassion because we know that we've experienced those very things. So to judge another woman is like judging yourself and that's really where it comes from. You judge yourself, so you see something in another woman, it's usually because you have it in yourself, some part of you. So as a culture and as a society, if we can collaborate more and compete less, we're going to be more powerful. And I know this is an era where we're bringing the divine feminine forward more and more and more, and women are becoming more and more powerful because we're dropping the mask of masculinity and stepping more fully into our feminine energy. And in fact, I did a series last week on the feminine energy. So you can go back into my playlist and find the feminine energy playlist and watch it this weekend. Perhaps that might help you if you're struggling with stepping out of your masculine energy. I would say there's some comments coming in that everyone judges. Well, I'm gonna help you with this. So your mind judges, right? You're not your thoughts. I'm not a head. So I want you to start to think of yourself as having more than just a head. You have different composite parts. You have your mind, you have your body, you have your senses, you have your spirit, and you have your feelings. Okay, those are your composite parts that make up your spiritual being. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. So you're not your thoughts, you just have them. So when you say I judge, your mind judges. So if you can make that distinction in your vocabulary, I caught my mind judging these people all weekend. So that makes a distinction between you, who you really are, a godlike being, a spark of the divine, from what you have is thoughts. You're not your thoughts, you just have them. So sometimes they are judgmental. You're right. Sometimes your mind is spitting up a bunch of judgmental thoughts. But the beautiful thing is if you can make that distinction that you're not your thoughts, you just have them, they won't disempower you. And then you can just wave them off like a fly. Remember, I use that analogy as, it's like you're sitting on a picnic bench and you're eating a cob of corn and a fly comes buzzing around, that negative thinking or the judgmental thoughts about others or yourself. And you just wave that fly off. You don't turn and look at the fly. You just keep eating your corn and you wave that fly off. I want you to try that with the negative judgmental thoughts. Yes, our mind does that because by the time we're 50 years old, psychologists have proven that 90% of our thoughts are negative by nature. So it's very hard to counteract those negative thoughts. But again, it's mindset. So if you have these tools by waving off that thought and recognizing that you're not your thoughts, you just have them, and you make that distinction between who you really are, that's really going to help you with the judgmental thinking. And don't beat yourself up. It happens to all of us because we're all human and that's a human condition, right? But we can learn mastery over our mind and not let our mind rule our life. We can live our life from our spirit, from our intuitive heart. And that's where our power is really. And that's where our connection to our real power is, our innate intelligence. And so I hope that helps you. I know that's a little esoteric, but I know that those of you following me, watching me, are being introduced to a higher level of thinking. And so I hope that helps. How do you approach a conversation with a man who does not show any type of appreciation? Say thank you, give compliments, etc. And so how do you approach a conversation with a man? Well, that's a really interesting question. How to approach a conversation with a man who does not show any type of appreciation, say thank you, or give compliments. Well, I would just off the top of my head, I'm thinking that he might be struggling to find any value in life right now. Perhaps he's had a challenging road, and maybe nobody showed any appreciation for him. So, when you want somebody to treat you a certain way, you teach them by how you treat yourself. And so I would just continue to show gratitude and appreciation for him, for things around you, for your environment, for the people you're interacting with. And if he doesn't pick up on that, then maybe he's not your guy, if that's important to you. And sometimes people do have a little bit of a black cloud over their head, and they can't find the good in life. And those people aren't people that I choose to associate with, because it's too hard to hold that my vibration high when they're down here. And so you can try to bring them up to your level, but a lot of times that doesn't work. So I'm sorry, I know that probably wasn't as helpful as I might have been in other posts, but that's what I got right now. And yes, somebody's asking me if I'm single. No, I'm married to an amazing man that I met on Match. We've been together for 7 years, and he actually works in my workshops, and he's my keynote speaker for my upcoming Love in La Jolla Man Planning Retreat Workshop, February 23rd and 24th. And he's going to be doing some speed dating with the ladies that attend, so that we can work through the mistakes that they make and we can help get you on track. And he's very supportive, and he really wants to help you ladies to find a gentleman and a loyal and wonderful man like he is. So he's a big support for me. And so, ladies, so I'm going to have to end the broadcast because I'm over my 20 allotted minutes, but I love connecting with all of you next week. Starting over after 50 all week long, starting over after 50. And that's going to include topics like, let's see, how to get over a breakup, how to create emotional intimacy, how to be more confident, how to overcome fears for women if you're dating over 50, and starting over after divorce. It's going to be a really big week. And I hope you'll join me Monday through Friday, 12 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern, right here all week long. I appreciate all of you showing up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you enjoy the content, and like my Facebook page and give me a rating if you're feeling generous today. And ladies, have a wonderful weekend. Send out your generator emails. And remember, mindset. I now have a man who loves and adores me. I now have a man who loves and adores me. We live happily in our beautiful home, surrounded by our 5 wonderful dogs. Whatever it is for you, end that sentence. I now have a man who loves and adores you. Post that on a yellow sticky and put it everywhere around. So you program your mind to believe in the experience that you want to have. That's how much power you have over your life. It's all in your mind. Your mind is very powerful. So use your mind. Don't let it use you. Okay, ladies, lots of love to you. See you next week. Bye.